Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're going to be doing a solo VOD review of one of my solo queue games. Now, I was just kind of playing ranked, I was listening to music, and I have been testing a lot of things here on the channel. Let me pause this really quickly. I've been testing a lot of things here on the channel, just like trying different kinds of videos, testing things, and just going in like really theory crafty mode. I think it's no kind of surprise that I am a little bit bored of the game, and so I've just been doing a lot of weird stuff to try to mix it up, to change things up. And so two of the videos that I've made recently was one talking about the potential for Rotom to be like a really strong solo queue strategy, and another was this new Zeraora build. So you can see it on the screen here. I'm running this new like one-shot Zeraora build. I actually like it a lot. It's kind of surprisingly strong, but I've been testing it with Fluffy Tail. This actually was like one of my first games that I played it with Fluffy Tail recently, because Fluffy Tail Discharge used to be good, and the thing that I lack with this character, and the thing that I lack with going for like the whole Rotom strategy, is wanting to or having like a strong secure. So I wanted to bring that to the table. Now I'm missing my eject, I'm missing a full heal, which is, it's tough at times, but this turned out to be a really great game. And I just kind of want to talk about the theory crafting behind it, because that's what I'm doing. I really don't mean to say that I'm 100% positive that going for Rotom is the right strategy. But right now we're looking to set up for 850Bs. I'm kind of watching my teammates, just kind of like sussing them out, like telling them they need to get back. This is like super risky, but I'm gonna go for Bs, and I insta Fluffy tailed the big B that comes out so I can get a lot of damage on it. You have to do that really quickly though, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and get out of there. Whatever happens with my teammates, he got a kill, great. If he died, whatever, I don't actually care. I'm just gonna leave and go straight back into my jungle. So just kind of talking about the thought process again, but also a big part of why I wanted to make this video where I talk about the VOD review itself and do a VOD review itself is just to talk about the fact that I'm just theory crafting a lot of solo queue stuff lately. I'm just theory crafting a lot of Pokemon Unite, trying to have fun with it, and yeah, so early game, like right now in this like second rotation, I just blow my Fluffy Tail. It's a 25-second cooldown. You got to just use it just to speed up your clear. There's really no reason to sit on it too much until there are like big objectives that are coming up that you'll want to sit on. And then so for Volt Switch, you'll see me like double tap the Volt Switch just to get that extra damage out there. Again, I don't expect that I'm going to be fighting anybody or need the mobility, so I'm just trying to rush my level 8. Now I see a potential counter gank here, which I think is really important to be looking for something like that, and I go on ahead and dive in. But again, I have no flash, no full heal, so he ejects, he hits me, I die. There's really nothing you can do in that situation, so I trade a kill, which is like kind of okay, but I give up a kill to the jungler, which is like a little dangerous. That said, looking at the clock, I know that I could go make it to a lane probably for 720s, but I'm also right here for a triple rotation. Same thing, looking at the clock, roughly I use the Fluffy Tail on the same exact timer as the like Rotom and Dreadnought, so I know I'll have my Fluffy Tail back up on time. I get my level 8. I'm going to go ahead and push myself really close to level 9, which unfortunately for Zeraora doesn't mean anything, and I'm going top lane. Like I said, I've been exploring the potential of Rotom strategy, and I'm going to go top lane. So I'm running at a cutoff angle to see if I can catch this Decidueye, and you're going to see that I grab him. So I catch the Decidueye. There's a lot of points here. I'm going to go on ahead and just start scoring, getting some free experience, and getting as much of this in as I can before going for it. Now, with staying for Rotom and doing like a Rotom strategy, you kind of just let the rest of the map happen. If your team comes with you, great. If they don't, whatever. I just want to get Rotom and try to create pressure or break a goal, or honestly, you just get whatever you can is kind of the point. Like, you just kind of get whatever you can. So looking at the tower, I see that there's an opportunity to min-max a little bit. So instead of just dumping what I have 10 more spots for points. I'm going to go ahead and farm and get more points. So I'm looking at the timing. I see that I have plenty of time, and we're going to go on ahead and maximize this. So just making sure she's not going to come dunk over me. So pretty nice dunk. I'm going to go ahead and base. And now I have to make a decision between going back in the jungle or helping bot lane. I'm like looking at bot lane. I say, you know what? There's 22 points on that tower. I think that I can actually help this a little bit. I have a Unite move and I'm using Energy Amp, so I wouldn't mind using my Unite move. And this is like instant crazy burst damage. they're lower level than me, so that helps a lot. I have the energy amp and the discharge. There, you know, whatever. The thing about weakness policy with this build is like you kind of don't like try to min max weakness policy. You just let weakness policy add as much damage as it can, right? I still think I've been considering going back to my original version of this build where I run like a muscle band over the weakness policy. So far, I think that because it has the potential for weakness policy to tick up to 4 stacks and blow everything up in sight with discharge, I've been liking it quite a bit. So, I don't know. Again, super experimental build on a pretty bad Pokemon anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Theorycraft-wise, this is all just kind of like for fun. But now, just rotating through jungle, trying to keep myself ahead, right? Like, that's the big thing. If and when you do get an experience lead, you need to keep it, because that's how you stay ahead of the other people and play and stay stronger. So Gengar kind of pops off on him, and I think this is a cool Zera discharge tech. So, boosted auto, yoink him back. With the Volt Switch at the right time, and I pull him back, so that's cool. I'm not super great and consistent at doing the Zera pull tech, but I can get it. For anybody that doesn't know how that works, if this is like your first time seeing it, I'll like pause it and like do like stop motion frames for you. So let me show you. This is a pretty cool tech that Zera has with discharge and Volt Switch. It's kind of hard to do, but you need to get in, land a boosted auto on them. So I boosted autoed him, and discharge will pull right at the very end of the bar. So as it's closing in, I Volt Switch back. So it pulls, but it pulls him to my new location. So you see how right at the end of the bar, I pull back, it pulled him into me, but it's going to take him all the way back with me. So it's kind of like a bug or like a unique game tech. I don't know. They've never fixed it. So people that play Zera still use it. So yeah, so that's a thing that you can do. It's like I said, it's pretty hard to be consistent with. And it also just requires you to get that, like to be in range of them with discharge and to land the boosted auto. You have to have the boosted auto on them. So a couple of people up here in the top lane. I'm just up here, gonna go ahead and start this, hoping that Decidueye doesn't snipe it, but I was looking at his position on the mini-map, so I just go ahead and pop the Fluffy normally. Since it was getting bursted, I was gonna save the Fluffy for the second discharge, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm thinking to myself again, like doing Rotom strategy, we can push this, it's 4 minutes, I have a Unite move, I'm just going ahead and do my big burst damage, like just blow them up instantly. I had 4 stacks of weakness policy, and I had the energy amplifier damage boost. So again, this build is all about like late game trying to one-shot people. Now, I will say, admittedly, you take this build into a 5v5 team fight and the buddy barriers start stacking, it does get hard to kill someone. But if you can kill someone very quickly, and I'm talking quick, then they cannot survive it. It's so I've been able to pull off like double, triple kills really quickly in end games with this build. But it's yeah, it's tough sometimes. Whenever the fights get like really long, then you kind of are just playing around your cooldowns, and you won't have your energy amp. So yeah, you just end up playing around your cooldowns and hoping that your teammates bring some consistent damage as opposed to like the burst that you bring. So all right, pretty late in the game, we've been controlling the majority of the game. I'm really liking the addition of the Fluffy Tail. I don't know if it's something I'll keep. I don't really think it matters because, like I said, I am playing Zeraora, which is just not the best Pokemon in the world. And you like, here's the thing. I'll say this. Go ahead and say this now. I think if you are gonna play this, you have to jungle it. There's no way you can keep up and be strong and get your Unite move without jungle. It's the character that literally needs the most experience in the game. Like it just doesn't have a choice, right? Like I think that Zeraora absolutely has to jungle right now, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right. Third, Rotom is spawning. This is an important part of like the whole like ideology behind going for Rotom, is that you want this condition right here. So we actually set it up in my video talking about it. I talked about the condition, but it's not something that's always going to line up. The win condition of, you know, the potential win condition of having a third Rotom pushing during the Zapdos final stretch time, right? They have no towers. We get this. It provides a ton of pressure. They either let it in and we can go score, or they give us the Zapdos. So it's just something that creates a really, really tough situation for the enemies. And it doesn't even really matter what you do with it as long as you can set this up. And it's not something that I would. It's not something that's going to happen every game. But when it does happen, it's kind of almost unwinnable for them. So this time I'm saving the discharge, especially since there's a Venu here. I see him use abilities. I go ahead and turn it on, turn on the fluffy tail, and we grab it. So I'm going to try to space away from the Gengar just in case, because I don't like force using my Unite move if I don't have to. I want to make sure that I can kill somebody with it. So I try to save the Pika here. I think he was out of my buddy range, but regardless, we go ahead and pop off on him. Now here's the thing, the energy amplifier's still on, and my weakness policy was still stacked for a little bit. So I try to play around 2 discharges after my Unite move if I can, if my health is permitting. So let's go ahead and watch that back really quickly. You're going to see that I end up feeling pressured to try to use my Unite move to save the Pika, because I just really don't want to lose my teammate there. But it insta-kills the Sylveon. Like, we basically insta-kill the Sylveon. That's 1 discharge is done for. My energy amplifier is still on. My weakness policy is still ticked. And although the weakness policy does end, I'm able to go ahead and finish this Decidueye with the 2nd discharge. So the Rotom is crashed now, and the enemy team is basically dead. My teammates are flipping. I'm a little worried, but I'm too low. I can't stay, right? So I have to just like pray that they do the right thing and that they continue to win fights and things like that. I'm on my way back. I have my discharge. I have my fluffy tail. They're jumping in. I give myself a little bit of time, turn it all on, and we get it. So there you have it. I think the fluffy tail gives me a lot more control to do things like that just in case. And the build itself, I've been looking at like other characters to maybe try builds like this on. I just can't quite see it yet. But I actually think that this could be a pretty decent way to play Zeraora. It's a solo queue build. It's a solo queue kind of thing. The whole thought behind going for Rotoms, I like it. It's obviously not like a 100% strategy or anything like that. I like the thought process behind it, but it's theory crafty. And yeah, that's our game. So this build, it does some damage. It's just really slow starting. If you go into a game with a Zeraora build and your lanes just get crushed, it's like so hard to come back from because of the fact that you don't get any experience, right? Like you're just getting crushed everywhere, and you're trying to reach for 10. Reaching for 10 is really, really hard. So let's see if I can fast forward through this little section right here. All right, last little bits of this game. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and win it. And I think I pull up the damage number so you can see it. So 78k damage, you know, nice. We got ahead and got it done. So friends, there you have it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'd love to know your thoughts about this whole theory crafting thing. I'm really just like messing around on the game a lot, really, lately. It's kind of been the goal, just kind of messing around, seeing what works, and seeing what's fun. So as always, friends, be sure to be kind to one another. Tell someone that you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.